Well, first, I'd like to welcome everyone to the demo meeting of Nanyang Scholars Toastmasters Club. And before you even ask, no, we don't make bread, and this is not a baking club. Then what exactly is Toastmasters? Toastmasters actually refers to the Toastmasters International, often simply known as Toastmasters. It is a worldwide nonprofit organization that helps people develop communication, leadership, and public speaking skills through its local member clubs. And if there are any Chinese friends here, it's called 头马俱乐部 in China. So just feel free to check that out. And the first Toastmasters club in the world was founded by a guy named Ralph Smedley in 1924. And the club is called Smedley Club No. 1. And it was held at the Santa Ana YMCA in the state of California. And he named this group the Toastmasters Club because Toastmaster was a popular term that referred to a person who gave toasts at banquets and other occasions. And Toastmaster International later became incorporated in 1932, and currently there are over 14,700 clubs in 144 countries. And the organization's membership exceeds 280,000. Can you imagine how big that is? And we can also see from the map here, most of the clubs are in English-speaking countries like the US and Canada. And there are also many clubs in Asian countries like Singapore and India and China. And I think in Singapore alone, there are more than 200 clubs already. And correct me if I'm wrong. And as a Toastmaster, you will be welcome in any of these clubs. Well, why people join Toastmasters? They join Toastmasters mainly to improve two things. One is public speaking, and the other is leadership. Well, you may want to, you may want to improve your presentation skills, or you may want to develop the skills to persuade and convince others. You may want to practice putting your ideas across clearly, and you may want to learn to think quickly and clearly under stress. And maybe you want to learn how to listen effectively and critically, or you simply just want to be trained to become a good leader in the team. So joining a Toastmaster club is a very invaluable opportunity to learn and practice all these things in a safe and supportive environment. And the first question is, how do I learn these skills? And this is where I should introduce an interesting thing about Toastmasters called Pathway Program. When you join a Toastmasters club, you will be enrolled in the Toastmasters education program called Pathways. In the Pathway Learning Experience, there are 11 specialized pathways here that are all shown on the screen. And it is actually an online curriculum. So basically an online course. It is very self-paced. You can work on projects whenever and wherever you want. And it is really a customized learning experience designed to help you meet your personal and professional goals. So for instance, I don't know if you can see here on the right side of the screen, there are two icons that are grayed out because these are the pathways that I enrolled in. One is called Presentation Mastery, because I wanted to improve my presentation skills. And the second one is Effective Coaching, because I'm a teacher, but I haven't really started it yet. And we also have other members enrolled in pathways like Dynamic Leadership and Innovative Planning. And these two are quite popular in the club. And if you are not sure which one to choose, just take a brief online test and it will suggest the learning path based on your goal. And it's actually quite fun to do. And after you enrolled in the pathway, there is online access to all the educational materials that you need for the particular competency. And there will be reading and videos that illustrate that skill. Well, the next question is, then how can I practice these skills that I learned? You can practice by attending Toastmaster meetings. In particular, you practice by doing presentations or projects. They're like assignments to these online courses, and your presentation will be evaluated by your fellow club members. You will be gradually introduced to various roles within a Toastmaster meeting. And I think Jonathan has mentioned some at the beginning, and the club meeting are quite special, and I bet you've never been to one of these. And if you have briefly looked at our program sheet, I actually have sent the link in the chat. You may notice that there are several activities during today's meeting, and some of them are special just for the demo meeting, and some of them are regular in every one of our meetings. And so let me just explain a bit more about what we do. Toastmaster meetings are usually 2 hours long. Each meeting is conducted by a host. Here we call them Toastmaster of the day. So today you can see our host is Jonathan. And there are 3 main parts to each meeting. They are prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. In fact, what Akhil just delivered and what I am doing right now, we are both doing prepared speeches, which is quite obvious because I have my slides and script prepared. I have practiced before the meeting, hence a prepared speech. And later, my speech will be evaluated by a fellow club member, our wonderful Rochelle, who will give me some constructive advice to help me improve. And the next part is table topics, which is a session to help you practice impromptu speech. I think you've all kind of experienced it during the Masha's game session. And later it will be led by our lovely Amanda, so stay tuned. You see, by doing these roles, you can practice how to chair and run meetings. You can practice how to give a prepared speech, and you can also practice how to evaluate what you hear. And of course, you always have a lot of opportunities to practice how to give an impromptu speech. And of course, there are other roles that help the meeting running, like our timer and our counter, but I will leave you to discover what they can do for us. And by now, I think you should already have some knowledge about Toastmasters. And let me move on to our club. And Nanyang Scholars was chartered in 2013. It's been almost 10 years now. I'm not sure exactly how we got this name, but my speculation is that we are mostly NTU students and our club is primarily composed of graduate students and research staff at NTU. Therefore, Nanyang Scholars, and I personally like this name a lot. And you can also see that our club is very international, I'd say. We have members from different countries and different disciplines. And also we meet every 3 weeks on Saturday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. like we are doing right now. And like I mentioned earlier about the meeting procedure, we will usually do presentations, evaluations, and table topics. So feel free to follow us on social media like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube to know more about our past meeting posts and our future meeting schedules. And aside from being a member Toastmasters Club, Nanyang Scholars is also a student club or student group affiliated with NTU Graduate Students Association, GSA. So if you're interested in joining the executive committee or the exco to contribute more to the club, so please stay till the end to hear more about our exco recruitment and membership. And finally, some personal experience. Here, I won't talk fancy about leadership skills or communication skills, but I just like to walk you through my journey here in this club. I am now a fourth-year PhD student at NIE. I joined Nanyang Scholars when I was a year one student. The reason is simple. As a very introvert person, public speaking has been quite a big fear in my life. And I don't know if anyone feels the same, especially when you need to talk in a language that is not your mother tongue. I mean, if I were to speak in Chinese, I might not be so scared, but in English, it would be a completely different story. And so when I first came to Singapore to embark on my graduate study, I realized that there are some communications and interactions that were inevitable, as you can see on the screen. So that's kind of like very painful to even look at. So a good friend of mine introduced me to Nanyang Scholars. We were presentation partners in one of our courses, and she is just afraid of public speaking as I was, but she had more courage than I do to find ways to practice. And one way is to join the Nanyang Scholars. And as graduate students, there were so many presentations to do in many classes. And if you were a PhD student like me, you will probably be teaching assistant to one of your professors. You will be doing 3-minute thesis, not to mention the QE and the Viva. There are just some occasions where the stakes are so high and we cannot afford to mess up. So Toastmasters is definitely a very good place for me to practice and share my ideas. And during the last 3 years, I have given many presentations. These presentations are mostly revolving around 2 of my passions. One is language and the other is game. I study linguistics, so I share some interesting linguistics theories and topics here. And in my spare time, I like playing games. So I also like to share some like fun facts about games, like the history of video games or history of mobile games. And when I speak about these things, it feels completely different from a classroom presentation because everyone here is here to encourage me, to support me. They're not really here to grade me or judge me like a teacher. So I don't really have to overthink, but have to just focus on expressing myself. So being able to have a place like this becomes something that's very precious for me in my PhD journey at NTU, because it's the place where I can meet people from different disciplines. I can meet people from different countries. I can learn what others are doing. I can learn what others are thinking. And it's a place where I feel safe and free. So if you ever need a place like this, whether you want to be a good communicator or you want to be a good leader, you can learn and practice here. And now I have come to the end of my presentation. I will leave the stage open for questions from the audience. So if you have any questions regarding the Toastmasters Club or Nanyang Scholars, please feel free to let me know. So any questions from the floor? You know, I'm actually doing a project assignment called question and answer session. It will be a bit weird if I don't get any questions from the audience.
Okay, can I ask you some clarification question?
Yes, of course,
Yes,
Mari.
yes. I just wondered that the club is operating online or on site.
Okay. So currently we are conducting online meetings, but as you see, as the situation improves, we're also looking at the possibilities of doing physical meetings or a hybrid mode.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Maureen, for your question.
Hi, Rong. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, Vida, please.
Yes. Okay. It's a great speech. So the question is mostly related to your journey because you're also serving as an executive committee member, right?
Yes.
So how was that so supportive for your overall growth as a speaker in Toastmasters?
I see. Thanks for your question, Vida. I have actually served several roles in the club. When I joined the club, I was the treasurer, and later I took the SAA, Sergeant of Arms. And then now I'm the VPE of the club, which is Vice President of Education. So I actually enjoyed contributing to the club in any way I can. So here, I think we are actually a very wonderful team, and I meet very nice people here, like Rochelle, Marsha. We all became good friends in the process. And this is what I didn't expect before I joined the club. So after I joined the club, after I joined the EXCO, I really find that of course, I get more opportunities to practice being an EXCO member. And also I took the delight of serving our members, like organizing meetings every time and just providing my help whenever I can. So I guess if you are looking for a position to practice your speaking skills or your ability to lead or to organize, joining our EXCO is definitely a very good choice.
Thanks, Angel. Thanks.
Yeah, and if you're really interested in this, please stay till the end because we will have more information about the membership and about the EXCO recruitment from our club president. Okay, so our guests, any more questions about the club?
Hi, Rong, Victoria here.
Hi, Victoria. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Yeah, I strongly agree what you said. We have a good team and we are supporting each other. But sometimes I have this problem because if I speak during the team that I trust, I have no issue. But if I speak to the strange, I'm like very nervous. I'm afraid making mistakes. So what is your experience about this part?
Okay, so for this, actually joining Toastmasters can help you with coping different situations. So you can have a very safe and free environment here at your home club. And you can also just go and visit another Toastmasters club. So if you remember, I mentioned that I think there are over 200 clubs here in Singapore. And if you want to find a challenging environment, then just go and do a speech there in a completely unfamiliar environment, just to challenge yourself. And again, in these clubs, there are online meetings and some of them are also doing physical meetings. So if you're looking for different modes and if you're looking for a different environment, I think it's not going to be a problem if you join the Toastmasters.
I see. Thank you. It's a very nice speech. Yeah,
thank you. I'm very glad you enjoyed it. And thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? if no more questions from the floor, then
There's a question in the chat box.
yes.
Yeah.
There's one question in the chat box, Yan Rong.
Sorry.
Wasat is
I-
asking if you could tell more about the pathways.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't being very detailed about pathways because due to the time constraints, but I was not able to. Oh, okay. So basically there are 11 pathways that you can choose from based on your own needs. So if you want to be a leader, maybe you can choose a pathway like dynamic leadership. Let me quickly go back to all the pathways. Yeah, here. Okay, so yeah, so if you're like me, you want to practice some presentation skills, then I definitely recommend presentation mastery. So you see, based on your needs, either it's personal needs or professional needs, you can always find something here. Yes, and if you want to learn more about pathway systems, you can approach me later after the meeting, and I will explain more to you. And I see Wu Jing or Jing Wu, you raise your hand.
Hello. My
Hi.
name is
Hi.
Jing. In Chinese, it's Wu Jing.
Wu Jing.
Actually,
Yeah, thanks for coming.
hello. Actually, it's very nice lecture. Thank you very much. And my question here is, how can we join our club? I mean, do I need to take a test or some interviews?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
So if you just want to become a member, then you can contact our VPM, Vice President of Membership, Jianhang. Maybe Jianhang, you can leave your phone number in the chat for the interested audience to contact you. And you just have to fill out several forms and pay the membership fee, then it will be done. But please, again, please stay till the end to learn more about the membership. And I think we do have some promotion, some discount of membership fee if you join early.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your question, Wu Jing. And if no more questions, due to time constraints, I do have to end here. And thank you everyone for your attention, and please enjoy and have a nice meeting.